Now, Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen. And Congressman, thanks for being with us. Obviously, we chuckled a little bit there at redefining words like agreement and final, but I want to ask you this question very seriously. The first interim deal with Iran was more than a year and a half ago. Now it's been a couple day-by-day delays, so we've had 4 delays in total. My honest question to you is, does this make the United States look weak when you set deadlines and then every time the deadline comes, you just extend it?
Well, the deadlines are self-imposed. And the ultimate victory, if there is such a thing, is going to be a nuclear-free military weapon in Iran. To keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon is worth the extension. You've got to give peace a chance, to quote John Lennon, and if it takes more time and if you're getting close, there's no reason not to take more time because the stakes are so high. The alternative to not having an agreement is that Iran doubles down, gets a nuclear capability, and the only way to stop them is through war. That's not good for the United States, that's not good for Israel, that's not good for Iran. If we're at all close, we need to continue to the finish line and protect the planet.
I understand the argument you're making. You just heard Jim Sciutto, though, talking about at this point the word agreement has to be redefined, right? So we might get to the finish line with some sort of an agreement, but it's not really an agreement, not on the details or not on some key points. So it could be just a brief statement. It might not even be on paper. Is that worth it? I mean, should John Kerry take that, or should he at some point say, look, I hear what you're saying. We don't want a military option, but the United States needs to walk away?
Well, I don't know that we need to. As long as sanctions aren't lifted, and they won't be lifted, and they would be lifted gradually until there's an agreement, we're not sacrificing anything except the time that John Kerry and other diplomats are putting in the negotiations. And while I don't like the attitude of the Iranian government in saying this is an opportunity for us, or the 5 plus us, and we need to take it and shouldn't turn back, it's really a great opportunity for Iran to join the world of nations, peaceful nations, use nuclear energy for peaceful reasons and not get into the nuclear armament business. But they're tough negotiators.
Yes.
I hope we are too. I think that the speech by Prime Minister Netanyahu and the difficulty that's seen that has exacerbated the bad relations with he and President Obama have made it more difficult and strengthened the Iranians' hands. And it's probably made it more lengthy in the discussions to come to an agreement. I just hope we can get an agreement for Israel, for the United States, and the world.
And you mentioned sanctions, though, that they're still in place and that's what the United States has on its side. I want to ask you about this, though, because the truth that I hear from a lot of businessmen in that region is that those sanctions have effectively, in many ways, already been removed. A New York Times reporter this week tweeted a picture of a Western Union open in Tehran. When I was in Tehran for the presidential elections there, I saw iPhones, iPads, Mercedes, BMWs, all of that for sale, all of them banned under the current sanctions regime. Are you concerned that main U.S. bargaining chip, sanctions, simply is not as strong as it should be?
Well, it's our only real bargaining chip, and if it doesn't exist, then why would the Iranians still be considering entering into an agreement that allows us to have monitors and inspections in all of their capacities to create the weapon, to deliver the weapon, to make it, militarize it? They wouldn't have any reason to do it unless they were to get something out of sanctions being lifted.
All right, fair point. Thank you very much, Congressman, and thank you for your time. And out front next, the growing